This is another weird thing that I was thinking about.
The director unsuccessfully argued in court that the excrement was actually chocolate ice cream.
Oh yeah, you know way too much about me.
If they had cat videos, they'd probably have more horns.
Somebody listening right now is offended and turned off Scrambled Egg.
That's the hill I will die on.
I respect it.
That escalated quickly, though.
By the way, it's called Scrambled YEGs.
There was some weird movie called Three Ninjas, but they learned karate, which was not.
I remember Three Ninjas.
Yeah, they knew karate. When you're like, that's not what ninjas do. but you know, it was the '90s, so they were like, they're Asian. But yeah, so it's like. Basically, I was like, why is there like no karate masters in the UFC? Like, I'd expect someone to do karate, and he was basically like, it's just not as good as the other ones. Yeah. It's like a karate guy's gonna get beat up by like Muay Thai guy every single time.
Yeah, I think part of it is how they train. There's some good karate guys. Like, what's his name? There was one fighter. I can't
Stephen
remember.
Thompson, maybe.
That's not the name I was thinking about. He might be a karate guy. He was a couple years ago. He's from Brazil. Matt Anderson Silva. It doesn't matter, but there are some good karate guys out there. I think it has to do how you train it. If you guys don't understand what a kata is,
no,
they just recite the movement in the air.
Okay.
They're imagining there's a person in front of them, they're punching and kicking.
Yeah.
And it's not even shadow boxing because they're just going through the sequence like A, then B, then C. That's how a lot of these. That's the impression I get, that how a lot of these traditional martial arts train.
Yeah.
Is going through these sequences, but they don't shadow box. They don't spar. If you don't ever test your stuff with someone who's giving you some resistance, you're not gonna learn how to fight. Even if if you did boxing the same way as they train in some karate gyms, and you're just going through a kata, a sequence of moves, boxing would fail.
Yeah, if you're going like jab, hook, uppercut, straight, jab, hook, uppercut, straight.
Yeah, never on the pads or anything.
Yeah. Same with wrestling. If I just work on my arm drags, my tackles, like, it'll help. It'll be good practice if I have no one to practice with. But if I can't test with someone who's gonna resist me a little bit, it's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. Plus, I imagine just like that repetitive nature. It's like, when have you ever just landed a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combo? Like just through the exact moves.
Yeah, you watch professional boxers not be able to land them successfully on a regular basis.
Target, yeah, and some of these katas go like 30 steps. You're punching, kicking, you're getting ready for this guy who's coming at you. You're doing a block, and then you're doing a punch here. It's like...
this guy's coming from 45 degrees from your back left, and then the next guy's coming with an upper hand right from the right. You're like, what are the chances?
You're like, all right, guys, like we practiced.
Yeah. Like, if someone attached you in that exact sequence, the kata might work out perfect. You gotta train with some resistance. I'm sure there's some good karate tactics, Aikido tactics, Taekwondo, all the martial arts that people would criticize, if they just train with some real resistance.
Yeah.
Right? And get ready for both the striker and the grappler. I think a lot of stuff could work. I think a lot of the bullshit we see is just because they never play with real resistance.
Yeah. What do you think of the guy in China who's gone around over the last couple of years and made it his mission to fight Tai Chi masters and just walk up and punch them while they go, oh.
I think he's gonna get himself killed, man. I'm really worried about that guy.
Is that real?
Yeah, dude. He
challenging people, beat him up.
Because in a lot of these Tai Chi masters, it's the guy who the videos online where you see like an old guy, like 4 dudes will come at him and he'll be like, and
they're like, fall into the ground.
So this guy just started challenging them to real fights, and there's a lot of them are on YouTube and stuff, and it's basically like the guy will stand there and he'll be doing his thing, and this guy will just walk up and just start like hammering on him.
Yeah, he finished the fights.
Oh man, that's so crazy.
Yeah, he's like Ray was. I heard your podcast with Randy. He said the guy already lost his social points or whatever it is.
I was reading an article about him in the last couple of weeks actually. Like he can't really travel. He used to. Well, he has like a YouTube show or something, but he has to send it to his buddy in the States on like a private network to upload because he's lost all his ability to do that there.
What the fuck?
I appreciate what he's doing. I think he's got guts, but like I think he's putting himself in a bad position. Like you don't want to mess. I wouldn't want to mess with China, but I don't know. Well,
and in the last little while, they've tried to really like the government's tried to like reinstate the obsession with martial arts in China, because I think it had kind of gone away a bit, and so they've really been trying to push it again. So this guy coming in and
just destroying.
Dispelling it is even worse at this particular time.
They're pushing their traditional stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. It's not just him. What was his name again?
I'm not sure what his name is.
It's not just him. It's happening a lot where these modern martial art guys, these mixed martial art guys, are challenging these traditional martial arts, and I haven't heard of any of these traditional martial artists winning.
Yeah.
And I would hate to be in China doing this and pissing off the government, but it's up to him. And
yeah, that's ballsy to be like, wow, I know I'm going to win, but also it's going to piss these people off.
Might be ruined.
I mean, when you were talking about the zero resistance, it just made me think of that, because here's these guys who,
they've never been challenged.
Never been challenged, and when they do like show it off, it's like, oh, I'm a pressure point guy. These 6 dudes are going to run at me, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to kill them all.
I'm sure some of these guys know about their bullshit, but some of them I think have bought into their bullshit, because there's I'm bad with names, guys. There was a guy in the US, he had chi powers. He did martial arts, and his students would have a real effect if he pretended he did his chi fireball, whatever it was. There's paramedics measuring the medical response, and their blood pressure would drop, and there's a real physical response, but it never worked in anyone outside of his school.
Right.
They believed in it so much, like a hypnotic suggestion, that they had a physical reaction. And then once it starts happening, like if I thought I had this and then you had a reaction because you believe me, I'm gonna start. My power's growing. Like they start feeding into them. It's like this sick, toxic thing where they're buying into their own cult.
Yeah, and probably to be effective, they have to. Right,
dude, that's an insane
to be that effective
display of like the power of the human mind. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That you can like basically convince a group of people. It's like the placebo effect, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like if you tell people that this pill is going to stop their heartburn, they're going to stop getting heartburn, like medically.
Yeah, at least half the time. They'll be like, "Wow, fixed." Awesome.
I just heard something. I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, and I was watching the one with Christopher Ryan's.
Okay,
I mean, you guys are fans of Joe Rogan at all?
I watched Joe Rogan. All right, listen to Rogan, but like depends on the guest.
Yes. Yeah, there's some guests I don't care for. But
is this dude an MMA guy or?
No, just he writes books. He wrote the book Sex at Dawn, and I don't know what his specialty is actually, but he was talking about the placebo effect and how when some people are allergic to flowers, that they just visualize a snowy landscape, that can help fight their allergies if there is a flower there. Right. But in the same person, if you show them a vase of flowers, and those flowers are fake, but they're convinced it's real, then they start having a physical reaction. So,
man,
that's so nuts. That's like, I always think that with like the gluten. Well, everyone talks about the gluten allergy and like whether the gluten allergy is real or not. Right. And it's like everyone's like, that's a fake allergy, but it's like, these people also believe it so much that I'm sure if they eat a loaf of bread, they go on the rest of their day just being like, oh, that bread, I can feel it in my tummy.
Absolutely.
I don't know enough about gluten allergies, but I don't know. Who knows if that's a placebo thing? Like, there's people that'll say that, and then
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I worked in the restaurant forever, but also my aunt has like celiac disease, so she was like legitimately allergic to gluten her whole life. And so like I'm like, oh, it's real. But then like since I've been working in the like service industry, gluten allergies have increased 20-fold. Yeah. It's like everyone has one now.
It's almost trendy.
Yeah, it's
like
oh,
I have a gluten allergy, so I can't.
Right.
But really, they just read it somewhere.
Something to say. Yeah, they read it somewhere, and they're like, oh, that must be why I'm sick, or they just want to say something. People want to be noticed.
Yeah. That's very true.
People do want to be noticed. That's a funny observation. I guess we can talk more about the class.
Do you fight competitively?
No? I compete. Like we fight with resistance at class, but like I don't compete. Like I'd love to. There's a part of me that wants to, but I'm 35 now, and getting hit in the head, everything I know about concussions, it does not appeal to me. Like ever since I saw that Will Smith movie, I'm like, I do not want to be one of those guys. Horrifying. I
have not watched the movie because I'm just like, I probably have a little CTE from being a dummy for as long as I was, and it's like I don't need. Just football and like sports and shit. I broke my face snowboarding. I broke my cheekbone and like knocked myself out. And then I played defense forever, and I just used my head like a battering ram.
You probably shouldn't compete.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Head injuries and I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were to start competing now, it'd be I don't know. It just seems to be too risky right now. I'm not getting younger, and I don't know. It'd be fun. Not out of shape yet, but
Yeah.
If I can't get to the top and make money out of it, what's the point? Because if I'm risking a head injury, what am I gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
Is it that important to me to win a couple fights with some guy?
Yeah,
it'd be cool, but like as I get older and just to bring, I don't want to be in a situation where I can't wipe my own ass.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure it won't go that far, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
Man.
dude. Well, and like anything could happen in those fights too. It's like you can like shatter your knee, and it's like, well, now what do I do?
You can die. Tim Hague.
Yeah,
Yeah. A boxer just died. His last name was Hay. He got knocked out in a fight, and he was in the hospital for a couple days. And
when was this?
This was in the last month.
U.S., Canada.
I think it was in the States.
That's crazy. That's like actual Pulp Fiction shit.
Well,
you remember that?
No.
Bruce Willis's character is supposed to throw the fight, and then he kills the dude instead.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So you have to get out of there real quick.
Yeah, that was the best. I love that movie so much. Did you ever
Patrick
watch Pulp
Day.
Fiction?
Patrick Day was his name.
Excuse me. Boxer, MMA fighter.
Boxer. American boxer.
So it was knockout. It wasn't a fluke where he had a heart attack at the time. Like
No. He died after having emergency brain surgery.
So yeah, probably getting hit in the head many times.
Sustained head injuries.
It doesn't happen often, but like
No.
you hear about stories like that.
I want to say that people often will say like, oh, no one's died, or when people start dying, then it's gonna. But I feel like more in the last little while, I'm seeing actual like,
Dude.
this was a prime time fight, not some like at the Shaw Conference Center, but even there, right? Like you're actually seeing people like where it's fatal consequences.
Yeah, dude. Ryan Shazier in the NFL like broke his spine. He was a safety, and it's just like broke his spine. It's like what?
And then with CTE, you're seeing these guys 20 years after their career, and
they're fine during the career, but then after it comes.
Yeah. I mean, even I know I had 4 or 5 concussions playing hockey growing up, and sometimes I wonder like if there is any lingering effect, or if they're like. And then I think about guys that played defense in football, and then I think about guys that played defense in football all the way to the pros.
Yeah.
You just think, how many times have you gone helmet to helmet with someone?
Oh, it's insane.
In a day.
And you're not making you weren't professional, I assume.
No.
So
My parents paid so that I could play.
Yeah. I don't know what the future of football is gonna be. Like I wouldn't. If I have kids, I wouldn't want to take them to football.
Yeah.
I don't know about even hockey. Like I think I'd want to play safe with baseball,
Yeah,
soccer.
soccer headers, man. They've long fought the connection between heading the ball and possible
concussions,
repetitious head injury. You see some a guy in the pros will blast it as hard as he can, and a defender will just knock it away with his head. And I see that and I think come on, that can't be
something.
Because even if your neck muscles and shit are strong enough, that still doesn't stop your brain, rattling around. That
the jello part is still jello.
It probably makes it more likely that you get a concussion because your
stiff skull, your brain smashes harder against it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I wonder how many people are gonna hesitate putting their kids in those sports.
Totally.
I would, but maybe more protective.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel so weird. I understand the issues, but this is the one time I'm real Albertan where I'm just stop being a pussy and play ball.
Yeah. Except even in the NFL today, after all that we know and have seen, there's still guys who will not only lead with their heads, but lead with their heads to damn near murder someone.
Yeah.
Thus dishing out 2 serious head injuries.
Yeah.
You think man, how.
This is assault.
Dude.
That's an assault.
But it's just with everything we know, you're still putting yourself and your, colleague in a sense in that position. It just shows you that's
testosterone, baby.
You could put all of the safety measures into play, and there's still going to be the wild cards.
Yeah, it's not gonna be me, but yeah.
No. Well, but that's what's scary about putting your kid in it is you're I know my kid's probably gonna, he's But then you go, Jack's kid's a fucking loose cannon, and like he has to play him.
Freaking Steven with a PH over there is just railing my kid in the head with his head.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing is practice. Like that shit's happening. Not in a game.
Dude, we had a kid named Doug Brown who would always like headbutt people. I had a bruise on my arm once that was in the shape of his face mask. It was like down and then 2 lines across. And I was just like so mad at him because he would always just lead with his head. So I loved hitting him because if you ever like tackle him, like, fuck you, Doug.
Yeah. Fuck you, Doug.
Football.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a running back. So he'd have the ball. And then if you tried to tackle him, he'd just like headbutt you. So I really like just putting my face mask into his hip. That was my favorite thing to do to him.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Even your boys on your team,
Yeah.
you're like, I can't wait to light this idiot up with my head.
Yeah, he started it, but yeah.
He started thus dealing out 2 head injuries again.
Yeah, he started it.
I found it harder. I found it harder to watch, and I know you love football. I like football, but I found it harder to watch over the last maybe the last 3 or 4 years, just as you see more and more like horrific injuries.
No, man, they're gladiators.
I know, but like
I love it.
they love it.
They love it. I love it.
They know that if they tell their coach that they have an injury, they're gonna be put on the list until they're healthy again, and then they're gonna get cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the not guaranteed contracts are a bad news, but
you're putting yourself through like the most serious, potential head trauma for like hopefully a season or 2 of playing.
Yeah. Like they know now, and they're making some money out of it. Like if I could be professional in football, I would do that.
But it's the only sport where they can cut you tomorrow and your contract's null and void.
I know that.
Like if in hockey they can pay you to sit on the sidelines. In football, it's non-guaranteed contracts, so they could maybe some of your money in your contract is guaranteed, but if they decide to cut you,
no moolah.
That's it. So you don't even have like the security necessarily of, okay, I have a 3-year contract worth this much money.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's
crazy.
the most like
Yeah. But I mean, also, the army gets paid less than all of them, and they're literally like, well, you might get shot in the fucking face. So
that's Alex trying to say, concussions aren't that bad in football.
No, I'm not saying they're not that bad. I'm just saying it's crazy that people are like, let's shut down football because of the head injuries. And it's like, well, we're paying them millions of dollars. We're paying these guys like thousands of dollars and treat them like shit when they get home, and they might get bombed tomorrow. So there's bigger issues out there, is all I'm saying.
People should be able to decide what they want to do.
That's
as long
great.
as they know what's going to happen, potentially. You're paying them for it. They agree to that pay.
I want to just rewind just briefly here. I'm like, oh man, it's harder to watch football because there's just so much brain trauma happening. And Alex's response was, fucking, we don't pay the army enough.
Yeah, it's the distraction tactic.
Fucking this Trumpian motherfucker.
It's huge. The NFL is huge. It's great for our economy.
But yeah, no, and I still watch.
We have the best athletes in the whole world. It's the greatest sport of all time.
I still like watching MMA. I still like watching boxing. But
China banned the NBA.
It's also hard to watch knowing that it's just like, man, those are the strongest people in the world hitting the other strongest people in the world in the head.
It's so cool.
It's cool and it's wicked, but it's also like, god damn.
I know. I wish I wasn't wrong in this situation so bad.
But it's like, what are you gonna do? Stop football? What?
Yeah, just shut it down.
Think about how much money from like the
I don't
pros
care about the money. I haven't seen the Panthers win a Super Bowl yet. You shut it down once the Panthers win a Super Bowl.
It's like big oil when people are like, just fucking flip the switch, turn it off, we're done. It's like that's billions of dollars for you look at all the money that's in like NCAA football and the pros and the whole pipeline from kids to it's billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Good metaphor.
Yeah, that's right. Build that pipeline.
Yeah, I think the kids stuff crazy. The NCAA drives me nuts because they don't get paid, and like there's a chance they never do.
California, they can start paying their players now. Hey,
really?
Yeah, they brought in some legislation a little while ago.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, I saw something on that with Philip DeFranco. I watch a lot of podcasts, guys. I obviously don't do a lot of podcasts.
No, you're.
But yeah, they were taking. That was basketball.
College sports in general. Yeah.
Sports, yeah. Yeah, they were getting paid nothing, right? They just had
Zero.
Scholarships, and they were in jeopardy if they didn't keep playing.
You also couldn't accept any kind of gift. I couldn't give you $10.
Some lady was like, "Happy birthday! Here's $10,000. Thanks for winning our team the championship." They would fucking take it.
But much less than that. Like if you accepted
gift card,
bottle service at the bar or something, or if you accepted anything, it's a gift that you're getting because you play for this team in the NCAA, and therefore they should be getting all the money.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So now players can profit off their name at least. Like, the video games and stuff, they all use their names and likenesses, but the players can't see a cent of it because
the NCAA
owns it.
They only changed that in California, you said?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So if you buy the NCAA... Well, they don't make the football
jersey,
game.
if you buy anything.
Yeah, the jerseys. The jerseys with the dude's name on it. The money for that goes to the league, not to the guy whose name is on the jersey who made it famous.
And if the guy was to say, "Hey, I'll sell you this for $10,"
right,
he would be in violation of
he signed it or something.
Yeah, and actually one of the stories that prompted it was there was a kicker somewhere in this on some NCAA football team who already had a successful YouTube channel. And he had to give it up in order to play football for the NCAA. So it can't even be I don't even know if they can work.
What? That's so crazy.
They only get their scholarship. That's it for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other crazy thing is and you have to keep up the grades. So it's you have to be a professional level athlete and then also go to school full time.
Yeah.
And you can't have any money. And if you slip in any of those areas, you're fucking gonzo.
It's right down to if someone pays you a little bit more in your summer job because they're like, "Oh, fuck, it's this guy."
Right.
That counts. I've heard of them investigating how much someone was paid in their summer job. And if it was the same as their coworker,
what changed it? What I'm glad changed, but
it's just one state because people have been lobbying for players to get some form of compensation for a long time, but the NCAA is such a huge business and such a huge lobbying machine that
American universities is such a corporation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very. It's worth a lot of money for the NCAA to keep it as is, right?
Yeah, they don't want to give it up.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. It must have just a strong enough lobby in California to make it happen, but there's still 49 other states.
Yeah, unfortunately. Is Canada the same way?
No, not as much.
Canada's it's not lucrative at all, so there's no real.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
They'd probably be impressed if you could make money off your name.
If you could sell 10 of our jerseys, that'd be great.
I'm sure there's maybe something similar, but it's not. It's nowhere near the same stakes. So it.
Yeah.
Right.
There could be stars in the NCAA that are worth millions. Well, there are.
Yeah.
That are worth millions of dollars, probably even just based on jersey sales and that kind of stuff. Whereas you wouldn't get that here at all, really.
Yeah, dude, that Jalen Hurts kid, have you heard of him?
I think so.
He was the quarterback. I think I could be getting this totally wrong, but there's a documentary called QB1 on Netflix about these prospect QBs, and it follows them from high school, and they're the number one ranked high school QBs in the country, and follows them through college. And the first one from season 1 is going into his draft year this year, and it's this dude's been on TV since he was 15 years old. He's selling jerseys like crazy and has never seen a cent of it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's
I bet even from the show.
Not even the show.
Maybe.
I don't know about the show. The show might be a separate contract, but
you
because he was in high school at the time, so I think it's different.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Maybe.
But
these guys are worth so much, and they have the attention of tens of millions of people. But if someone gives you a free drink at the bar, you're fucking out, buddy.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Prosecute. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dudes like have lost scholarships for it, for like taking money.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like you know, they go, oh, but you have your scholarship, and it's like, yeah, but me being at this school has nothing to do with me being at school. Like I'm here to make you guys money.
Yeah,
is you know. So when people, I always find it cute when people use the like, but it's about the education.
Yeah.
Okay. Like basketball is the best example of that, where the best players are there for a year, maybe 2, and then they declare for the draft.
Yeah. Well, did LeBron go out of high school?
Yeah, he was the last one to be able to go out of high school.
Yeah.
But you just like, oh, but they're getting an education. It's like,
yeah, but like, if they saw their money, they might not need that education. Like, they set up for life, and it's their money. Like if they're producing that, they should see some of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the crazy thing is, like you were saying, the consequences of like head injury, like the huge risk that they're taking to get no fucking money, period.
With the hopes that they make it pro. Yeah. Right? And how many of them do?
See, I wouldn't... Jeez. If I was 15 again, I could start football. I wouldn't want to... I wouldn't have the body for it, but like I wouldn't want to start that now as a maybe 10 years down training, have brain damage and then no career.
Exactly. For a non-guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
Well, and
it seems like a real rough deal.
Like, unless you really you like football or
I love football. Yeah, I love it.
Love the sport that much and fine. Maybe it's worth it for you.
Yeah,
but like,
it probably still
is.
Dude,
but some of these guys like
I think it is.
Bro, there's another football documentary called Last Chance U, and it's about this like Div 2 school. It's called JUCO, junior college. And they're like a million-time JUCO champions. It's like this Catholic school. And they take all the guys who get kicked out of Div 1 for being like smoking pot or like their grades are shitty and stuff. And they bring them to the school and they try and like make them like Christian and shit like that. But all these guys are like... They're like, a lot of them just like are dumb at school, and they're like dudes who like grew up in the hood and like never paid attention, and they're just like literally just Southern as hell. Like, well, mama says I got talent for football, so as long as I can stay in school, I might be able to make something out of myself. And you're like, dude, this guy's getting fucked up every week, and like he's so good at football, but he can't make a cent off of it, and like he's trying to buy his mom a house and shit.
Yeah,
that's fucking sad. Like it's just rich people getting richer off of fucking these kids.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's worth it if you're an elite player who's but even then the number of like you have to play for that however many years in college and not get hurt.
Yeah.
Like you could have a devastating injury before you declare
you were going to be like the top level guy, and all of a sudden you break your leg or pull your Achilles.
There's NBA players who missed their entire rookie seasons because they got like they were super high prospects and were chosen high, but missed their entire first seasons because of injury sustained in college. You just think, man, if you could never play again after that, that's it. That's it.
You still have that injury, no money to show for it. Do they even cover your medical?
They probably do medical.
I think so. Yeah, I think they take like insurance policies out on like the students and everything.
Like property. Like,
yeah.
My car breaks down.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. And I'm sure they probably have much better access to care than most people. Just like how here, like if Connor McDavid gets hurt, he's getting an MRI or a CAT or whatever the fuck he needs to that night. Yeah.
If me and McDavid have the same injury today, his is going to be healed way faster.
He's going to be healed before you get into...
before my first CAT
I've had buddies that bunged up their knees and had to wait over a year. And you just think like, man... That's I always think like if pro sports had to work with the healthcare system the same way, you're like, oh, he's got a knee injury. That's 6 to 8 weeks, but of course wait times.
With wait times, we might see him back next season.
Out for a year and a half with the flu. Wait times are a bitch, I tell you.
Yeah, I tore the lateral of my ankles, both of them.
At the same time?
Same week.
How?
Oh man.
I wasn't that. We were doing gun disarms at KPC, and I was doing something I wasn't supposed to, which was running backwards. You're not supposed to run backwards because you might trip. I was running backwards while I took my partner's gun, tripped, rolled my ankle, tore the right side of my lateral. I don't know what you call that. That week I went to Mexico. I was running the beach in the shallow end of the ocean, and obviously shallow end. And, the ground was unstable and I was putting weight on this leg. Then I rolled this ankle toward that side. I tried walking on it, and when I stood on it, because this one was kind of fine, it was a low grade tear. When I tried walking this one, I heard it tear.
Oh, hearing it's the worst.
Yeah. And yeah, I was able to go to Mexico and go to their hospital, but
yikes!
It was fucking weird. It was empty.
Really?
Yeah, like there was no one there, and I had 2 doctors like ready to service me because I was insured Canadian.
Nice.
And they were there to help me right away, X-rays and everything. But in Canada, it took forever to get. By the time I got the MRI, they said it's healed, but like it was a high. They were able to tell me it was a high grade tear by the scar tissue, I guess.
Good lord.
Oh man, that's funny.
But yeah, Mexico, the hospital was empty. It was fucking creepy. I thought I was gonna get shot or something. Like I was like, this is not a real place.
Like, dude, I watched Narcos. This.
Two doctors waiting for you with a gurney. They're like, let's go.
They're gonna harvest my fucking.
Yeah, we were expecting you. Oh fuck.
No, it was weird. Like you go to any hospital I've been to, it's packed with people, employees, patients.
Yeah.
There's no one there.
Also, not even like busy employee wise. Just
no. I saw a janitor and 2 doctors. It was a big, nice looking hospital. I was like, this is fucking creepy. It didn't occur to me that they were gonna harvest my organs maybe until after. I'm like, fuck, man, that could have been. I should have just left. That was so weird. I can't speak the language. I don't know where I was. The cab driver was shady when he was taking me there. I was like,
yeah. First of all, I took a cab to the hospital. Yeah. That was a bad sign.
Yeah.
Called an ambulance and a fucking yellow taxi showed up.
Yeah. He was very nice, but yeah.
That's so funny. Dude, I've heard of Americans doing that. Like, they just go to the States for, like, dental work and shit. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah,
like lap band surgery.
Like pills and stuff, like medication. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people in like San Diego, will, like all the old people there will just like cross over, get whatever medication they need and cross back. Yeah. And it's...
Dude, I love going to Mexico and there's all the Viagra signs. There's like, buy Viagra here. Like, amigos, Viagra. Yeah. Appreciate you.
I appreciate
I'd imagine the quality's not as guaranteed, though.
Yeah, the FDA has not stamped
by hand.
Yeah. Count 10. Them out with the little stick.
Different colors. Yeah. Most of that's Viagra. Like,
some of them are a placebo. Yeah. Let me guess. The 4 Smarties. The 4 blue Smarties. Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Holy shit. All right. What are we? Oh, we're creeping up on an hour here. You got any questions you want to ask? Anything we need answered?
Anything we need answered?
No, that's a no.
No, I guess if we just circle back to self-defense, it's never occurred to me to take a self-defense class, but like I would need one if I was ever. If I was ever.
I heard that. Why makes you say that?
No, I mean
I definitely need one. Oh.
Got a lot of enemies.
I wouldn't say you're high in the victim profile list.
No, I feel like I could scrap together enough knowledge in the moment to at least, But I've never taken any. I'm not a fighter. I've never been in many fights in my life.
I'm sure you'd be fine. Like aggression goes a long way, and like
yeah.
I don't know how for anyone deep with this, but like I said, you're not in the victim profile list. Like that's true. If we're talking about different types of attacks, social status, predatory, predators are probably not eyeing you for sexual assault, or if they want your phone so they can buy more meth, they're probably not going to pick you over person X who's smaller, female.
Right.
Like, you're not going to be a target for that kind of violence, generally speaking.
Right.
You're probably going to be a target for status-based violence. Like, you guys work at comedy clubs, they serve liquor, you maybe some tussles because of that.
Yeah, been close, Yeah. Never thrown any fists, but been a lot of collar grabbing.
Yeah. a lot of collar grabbing.
Right. Yeah, you guys probably only have to worry about like the monkey dance where guys are just trying to posture and look tough, and you could probably avoid most of that with just making a joke or just like, yeah, you win, buddy, whatever.
Yeah,
or if you want to fight, you can, but the stakes are not as high.
Right.
Predatory type violence where they'll take it further, right? Like someone who just wants to beat me up just wants to say I beat up this guy who teaches at this gym, but someone's going to attack me, might be thinking, I wonder what his eyes taste like in soup. Like, we're talking about the difference between predatory and social.
Yeah.
The mentality takes you further, right?
That is true.
That
is true.
wild.
Yeah, most fights, once someone goes to the ground, it's usually like everyone's like, all right, get off.
That's true.
Maybe
Yeah.
a few educational punches, educational beatdown,
But yeah,
it's not
like
murder. It's not attempted homicide.
yeah,
Right,
an attack is like once someone goes to the ground, it's like, all right, now it's getting good. Like,
Yeah.
It's there was one guy. There's a lot of examples, not one guy, but there was a video. You can find a lot of dark things on YouTube.
Yep.
Attacks on camera.
Right.
There's one guy. I think it was Russia. Oh, muscle crap. And he was a heroin addict, I believe, and he was targeting this woman for what was in her purse. He just wanted to buy more heroin. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
She was just doing what's probably natural, or she was just trying to ignore him because he was like targeting her, he was doing something that gave her that gut instinct where this is a bad dude.
Yeah.
She just defaulted to ignoring him. She was in front of the elevator, just pressing the button, and he went behind her, grabbed her ponytail, pulled her down, and started stomping on her head.
Oh my God.
The doors opened. He dragged her inside. He took the purse, and because he was craving heroin, so he was in this very primal state of his brain, very survival based.
Yeah.
As if, like they say, if someone's drowning, you don't want to go in there right after because they'll pull you down for that extra breath of air. He was in that survival state because his body pretty much thinks it needs heroin now.
Yeah.
And when he heard her gurgling, she was so damaged. That natural predator in us wants to finish the job.
Yeah.
That's why, like,
because it stops the danger or whatever, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he just braced his hands against the walls of the elevator and continued stomping, and he left. And it was just for what was in her purse.
Oh.
Yeah.
And like that's a high level that I'm not saying that wouldn't happen in a bar fight, but usually they don't take it that far.
I've honestly noticed a lot of what seems like people with drug addiction issues downtown in the last couple of years. Like I've started living downtown last January, and so I'm like walking back and forth quite a bit. And there's only been like one or two times where I've been like, what the fuck? But I've noticed a lot more of that around.
Like you're close to Little China or Little China? Chinatown?
Not really. Just along Jasper and stuff. I'm seeing more like crazy looking people. Is the best way to describe it.
Our class used to be in Capitol Tower in Chinatown,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of shady things happened. I had to kick some people out or get someone arrested, but there was one case where one of our classes was done. I forget his name, but he left downstairs first, and he came up. He's like, "Guys, I can't leave. There's a guy getting a hand job in the front door."
Oh my God!
Oh no, I have to deal with this.
Oh my God.
I didn't touch him. I was like, "Hey guys, fucking beat it."
Beat it.
Beat it. Like, I am.
Yeah. I didn't think choice of words. And then he got all shy. He was covering himself up. I'm like, "You're doing this in the front door next to this.
Yeah.
Why are you now blushing?"
How are you gonna be shy?
Like, oh no! I'm like, get out of here. So yeah, downtown's not the best right now.
Oh my God! You're like, not near the plants, Weinstein. Get out. That's so gross. Ugh. I'm so happy that I don't live downtown.
I mean,
I guess I live near White now.
I was gonna say it's not that bad. I don't know. I can't say that it's not that bad.
Yeah, I saw some dude like get caught breaking into a car the other day. That was
really?
fun. Yeah, there was a bunch of cops like just arresting a dude with like a car.
Huh. I actually, for the first time ever, saw it was outside of like the Kingsway BPs, and there was a guy just like going up to each window and like looking in and like trying to open doors.
Handles.
Yeah,
Like not even like trying to be sneaky, like walking up to each car in the parking lot one by one, just like a pure zombie.
Yeah, he's desperate. I would guess, knowing the guy, that he's just craving drugs and
Probably,
he's
yeah.
desperate and he wants something quick. Gets
Yeah.
selling a pawn shop.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
Yeah.
Like
It's crazy.
as much as anything else, it's just sad.
Yeah, it sucks. But hey, those people exist, and you need to learn self-defense. Like for that, like
It's the sales pitch.
no, like well, that's how it started.
There's rapists out there. And
There's scary.
Well, that's
people.
how the thing started. Was like this girl was going into the elevator, like ignored. Like if she,
Yeah.
I'm sure just that's something you guys teach. I mean, I've know Randy talks about all the time, is just like being prepared is like a huge part of it. If some dude's like yelling at you, don't just pretend he doesn't exist.
Yeah, don't ignore it.
Yeah, and it's not so much even about the physical. It's about like recognizing the cues and that, because that's one of the things that I remember from our conversation with Randy is like a lot of there's all of these cues you can see, and here's how you should act within each of those, and that's far before any actual. What I think of when I think self-defense is the physical.
Yeah,
right?
You're absolutely right. Like you want to just showing that you're a harder target, that you're going to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
If you're looking away, you're not turning your power line towards them. We call this your power line because this is where you run faster. This is where you hit harder. You don't run faster backwards or sideways. We're better this way.
Just Mike.
Sorry.
No, I'm like, it's so hard with people.
Yeah. So just turning your power line towards that guy, keeping your eyes on them, and having your hands up, that alone will show them that you're going to be a harder target.
Right.
I've been sucker punched 3 times as a bouncer. Every time it happened, I was emotionally involved with the argument. Like I'm telling them you got to go, and they're telling me, fuck you, it's a free country. And I get stuck in this argument, and then I fall for the argument. I'm like, fuck you, you're an asshole. My hands are down. Yeah. Then I get sucker punched. But every time I was able to keep my hands up, no one's ever tried. Doesn't mean they won't try, but if they do, I'll be better prepared. And it's deterred, I'm sure a few. There was one guy, he was yelling at me, and I kept talking, kept my cool, kept my hands up, and he told me to put my fucking hands down. I'm like, no. Like you want my chin up now? Like, what do you want? He eventually left. But I'm
put your fucking hands down.
Like, no. It wasn't like I was in his face either. I was just
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a dude who was looking to hit you. He's like, put your hands down.
Yeah.
I can't imagine,
Why else you would say
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do with my hands. I'm like, I've been punched before, I get it.
Yeah, you saying put them down makes me know that I need to keep them up.
Oh, yeah. I was like, are they up? Good. Because it's finally a good habit I built up. But like we generally, we want to do that when we're angry at another guy. That's our... That's our monkey dance when it's with that status-based stuff. You drop your hands, lift up your chin. Everyone does it. Doesn't matter what culture, race you are. Even if you have training, you'll default to that if it's status-based.
Right.
As opposed to predatory.
Crazy. That's such an interesting... The mentality of fighting is so cool to me.
Yeah, there's so much of it that is up here, right?
Well, there's so much counterintuitive things you need to do. Like I remember I did boxing like briefly when I was like 14, and they're like, it's going to be weird because when you get hit, you need to move forward, which your body is not going to want to do.
You want to look away.
Yeah, you want to recoil, you want to go back. It's like, no, you need to get into where the punch just came from. Yeah. Like that's what you have to do. And it's like, okay, like I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to learn, but some people it's not so hard to learn. Some people seem to be naturally aggressive, but most people would want to recoil, and you got to get in there. Like at least if you're sparring, if it's self-defense, if there's plenty of space, you can just leave. Yeah. But if they're cornering you or you're competing, then you got to go towards where it hurts.
Yeah, it's a really counterintuitive like thing.
Yeah.
And like you said, even just keeping your hands up is weird to learn. Like, no, keep your hands in front of your chin. You're like, but that blocks my vision. It's like, good.
Yeah. Safer though,
One of the hardest things too must be not getting that emotional response.
Oh yeah, people
just keeping cool, staying in the pocket, so to speak.
Yeah, keeping cool.
Because it's so easy to just be like someone cuts you off in traffic. Yeah. I was talking with another comic, Sean LeComber, the other day about this, where like in your car seems to be the one place like someone cuts you off and you're just like full rage.
Yeah.
Or you just you start screaming or whatever. And so I would imagine one of the hardest parts is keeping that down during a fight, which lends itself to being...
Yeah, you don't want to be... My opinion, I'm sure there's a lot of good fighters who would disagree with me, but I don't want to be too angry. Like a little fear, a little anger, that's all good. Mm-hmm. But like if you let it overtake you, you're going to do shitty. Like there's a lot of guys who are super aggressive with me, swinging for the fences, and they missed because they weren't being tactical. They were angry. They were committed to their attack, but they were sloppy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think when that gets into when you get like the sort of emotional response that you're gonna get sloppy because you're just like training aside. You're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, that's what happened. I dropped my hands. I probably did the monkey dance.
Yeah.
And then it's like fuck, and then I had to like duck under and grab him, but like
yeah. That's the like GSP Floyd Mayweather tactic is just like stay calm. Like just watching GSP. I really loved watching GSP fight because he just like was so defensive and so just like, okay, well, I know the one weakness that you have. When he fought like Josh Koscheck or something like that, and he's like, the only thing I know is whenever he comes at me, I'm gonna punch him in his fucking left eye, and then he just beat him by doing that for a whole fight.
Couldn't even go on a plane after that. Retina or something was ruptured.
Oh,
Enough, but you couldn't change air pressure. He had to drive back home.
It would have blown his eye out of his socket if he went on an airplane.
I don't know that. Maybe.
That was the rumor that I heard. Yeah,
it
was
wouldn't
like,
have looked anything, but
but yeah, it's like the air pressure change would have collapsed his eye socket. Was the like?
Oh man, that's insane.
We're not doctors, but something definitely happened when you go on a plane.
Yeah, well, and that's Mayweather's kind of go-to is maybe a round or two you think, oh, the other guy's fucking getting some shots in, and then every round after that, he knows the entire book on you.
He's uploaded all your patterns, and now he's just gonna take you apart.
Yeah. And
on top of that, you thought you may have won the first 2 rounds, so you're like, fucking here we go.
Yeah, he's just so
shithole of a person. Hell of a boxer.
Definitely presents that way. Like I don't know if he does that.
Yeah, for publicity.
Well, yeah, like now people want to watch him fight, so hoping that he'll get knocked out.
Yeah,
totally.
Just hate him, so I don't know. Is it
totally?
He is an asshole, but
I think part of it too is to get in his like.
I think he's beat up a lot of women in his life. I think that's part of it.
I heard, like 3-0 with women.
49-0 with men, 3-0 with women.
Yeah,
so
that's a pretty good record.
Yeah, he probably is an asshole.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
2-0 altogether.
Oh. Man, my favorite thing. Did you ever see when him and 50 Cent had beef?
That was they would go back and forth quite a bit.
50 Cent is like the king of just like starting feuds on the internet for some reason. Okay. And he started one with Floyd Mayweather, and they'd like go back and forth talking about like who has more money and like all this dumb shit. And it was during the ALS bucket challenge, like the ice bucket thing. And one of the funniest videos ever is 50 Cent. He's like, all right, this is my ice bucket challenge. And then he just like dumps it over the side of a balcony. He's like, fuck that. I will donate $100,000 to ALS if Floyd Mayweather can get through one page of Harry Potter without stuttering.
Because there's a lot of literacy rumors or maybe realities about Floyd Mayweather. Well, no, about like apparently Floyd Mayweather
is dyslexic. Apparently, allegedly.
Yeah.
He's that rich. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, totally.
He doesn't need to work a day in his life. He's just boxing out and make more money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't even know. He may have even retired now by this point.
Well, I think he's said it for a while. He's like, I'll only fight if the paycheck's big enough at this point.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't he supposed to fight someone else? No, maybe I'm thinking about the McGregor.
Yeah, the McGregor was the last one that I heard of.
Yeah, but I think so. And apparently McGregor's back in January.
For the UFC?
UFC.
Don't look happy about that.
Well, you know what? He had so much around him and stuff, and now like realistically, like he's submitted. He's been submitted twice, and he thinks he should get a rematch with Khabib, and it's like he handled you easily.
Yeah,
like
Khabib is a monster though. Like
I know. I
that bear as a kid.
Khabib's my favorite right now.
I saw a video of him swimming like upstream in Russia or something. Like there was just
it's like all right.
It's just like in bars on Barstool Sports, you're just in some like cold ass river just swimming upstream.
Meanwhile, all you hear about McGregor is like, oh, another like sexual assault investigation. And he punched an old man at a bar in Ireland for not taking his whiskey. Like,
good
Lord. With that type of character, like if you can maintain it, it's so cool. But then eventually you start doing stupid shit like this, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like it's fun when he's in the middle of his rise to fame, and he's just like talking so much shit and then beating people up, and you're like, this guy's awesome. Yeah,
he didn't even take the Ronda Rousey route and start doing movies when he lost.
Movies
when he lost.
Yeah, and WWE, she's like fully in it now, right?
I haven't been following her, but last I heard, she's doing that.
Cain Velasquez just started with WWE.
I heard that too. It's like Brock Lesnar started this weird thing where you can just do both now.
Well, I think Cain Velasquez is like out of MMA and now fully like Rousey's out of MMA. Yeah. She's not, she's not fighting.
Lesnar was out too because of this USADA, and he say no to steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is he back in the? Because I know he started the WWE, went to the MMA, and then went back to the WWE, back to MMA.
Yeah, he's at a point now where like he can do the one-offs. for both because
That's so
because
funny.
he's so much of a moneymaker for them. There was Daniel Cormier wanted to fight him, but I don't know if that ever because Cormier is a big wrestling fan, so he wanted that to be his like go out fight is
Him and
fighting
Lesnar.
Yeah, and really it's like the money fight.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's happening. So
I think Lesnar likes, like, joking aside, he likes steroids too much. Like,
Yeah.
ever since his surgery and just his years of
Using steroids.
probably using steroids.
I remember the first time I ever saw him
Alleged.
on TV, and it was just like
Yeah.
his ears were his shoulders
Connected
were
to
his
belts,
yeah.
He's a monster.
He's huge.
Can't imagine. Like, didn't he have a major surgery too, where a lot of his colon was removed?
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
only ate meat for like a year or something.
Didn't he
work
get
out.
some disease when he was hunting in Manitoba or something?
I have no
I didn't
idea.
know that.
Yeah, he likes hunting in Canada.
Yeah, he comes up, dude.
With his hands.
I had a guy. I worked at a Lubex, and we had this guy that would come in and he'd bring us like deer jerky and shit all the time.
Nice.
And he like brought rich people up from the States to hunt because apparently Alberta has like really good hunting, like the elk and stuff. So he's like, yeah, he does like celebrity hunting like up in the mountains, and he went with Brock Lesnar and he like brought us deer jerky. He's like, oh, Brock fucking shot this thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, like, keep it. It's all ripped and shit.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. Steroids are nuts. Have you seen the documentary about I watch a lot of documentaries.
Icarus one.
Icarus is crazy.
Yeah.
That one's also insane. But there's another one about, I think it's called, I don't think it's Take Your Pills, but there's one about like this guy who gets into professional wrestling. And he's like a guy that basically just gets like beat up on by other professional wrestlers who are like almost making it.
Right.
And he wanted to be like a real wrestler, so he started doing all the steroids, and then like everyone in wrestling does steroids, and he gets like super depressed, and it's all about like how horrible and addictive steroids are.
What's it called?
I forget what it's called. It's not Take Your Pills, but that's also another good one.
Gee, okay.
I'll find it though.
It must be hard to, like, that's the other thing, to try to compete. It'd be hard to compete and play by the rules when you suspect all the other people are breaking the rules.
When you basically know, because and also when you know all the tricks, like for me watching it, you think like, or for the general public, you think like steroids are not steroids, like that's it. But the reality is there's this huge amount of different things you can be taking to
so many
to
pharmaceuticals.
to increase your performance one way or another. And once I started to learn about the masking agent side of it a little bit, like I remember Manny Ramirez, the baseball player, got popped for like
that giant guy, right?
He was that was David Ortiz probably was his teammate, but he got popped for like female not whatever a female would take to like increase her chances of having a child or something.
I don't know what they would take then.
Well, it's something
be
Like a
estrogen.
fertility drug.
yeah, fertility drug. That's yay. He got caught with a female fertility drug, and it was like, why the fuck? Why would he have that? But it was it was one that was commonly used to mask steroids or whatever. And so what you start to see guys getting popped for stuff, and you're like, but that's not. And you go, oh, it's something that's like
Hiding something.
commonly used to hide other stuff. And then you find out that the guys at the very top are probably just the guys with the best science,
Yeah.
right?
Like Lance Armstrong, he wasn't the only one doping, like I heard.
Yeah.
When they back tested everyone, I think the guy in 14th place was the only one that was like drug free or something, or
Yeah.
10th place, something ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
first, second, third, fourth,
Yeah.
fifth, they were all caught doing something eventually. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I appreciate if they want to do this drug free, but I wouldn't mind with all the masking agents and the cheating. I wouldn't mind if there was just a sport where it's like do whatever the fuck you want.
We've talked about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, where it's
I would
don't
watch
know.
those Olympics. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
Olympics on that would be nuts. Like,
try to
let's
find
see
the actual like edge of what we can do.
how good can people
testosterone with
be.
PCP. Like,
Yeah.
how far can we lift or run? That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The documentary I was talking about is called Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Mark Bell, right? He's the one that made that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, and his like brother was the one who was addicted to steroids.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, Chris Bell. Yeah,
Chris Bell.
yeah, Chris Bell's the director
Okay.
and the writer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of his brothers killed himself. Or
Yeah.
died.
yeah,
Yeah.
because basically he like was using
doing
so
too
many
much.
drugs and
It's crazy.
got all caught up in the WWE world of steroids and drugs.
I don't know why people like. I guess if you like WWE, you want to be there and do it, but like all the injuries these guys get, like I heard a lot of them die from painkiller overdoses. And
because they're on the road like 200, 300 days a year or something like that.
They're doing those fights like every day or every second.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and they're like,
there's a lot of money, I guess maybe.
And it's not all the big televised ones either. They're doing a lot of just like
jumping 20 feet, landing on someone.
Yeah, dude, they're like the shit off the cages. Like Mankind does like tours now. Do you remember him? What was his name?
Mick Foley.
Okay.
He was crazy. He was like legitimately a lunatic. He would put like thumbtacks down like for real and like jump onto them and shit.
Oh yeah,
from like the top of the cage.
Yeah. Yeah, and he had
mental illness, man.
Yeah, bro, and he like broke his neck like doing a flip off a cage, and he like had this sock puppet called Mr. Socko that was like another character. Anyways, he tours
That also
around.
sounds like a neurological disease.
This guy was not well.
He's nuts. But he like tours now and he plays the comic strip all the time.
Oh, really?
And he does like tours like talking about like all the crazy shit and like how messed up your body gets and like what it's actually like to like be there.
Is he limping now?
I assume so. He was always like a big guy too. Like he's not like
he didn't look in shape.
Yeah, he wasn't like one of the ripped guys.
I hope he made his money then at least.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was like one of the most famous guys in the 90s.
But I always think for every one of him, there's thousands in all of the, backcountry leagues here and there that are doing this insane stuff for fucking nothing.
It's like the NCAA kids. It's like for every Tom Brady, there's like how many colleges are there in the States? Like 300?
Probably.
And there's 32 football teams, and it's not like every team needs a new quarterback every year.
Yeah.
So there's 300 graduating senior quarterbacks who've been taking abuse their whole life who didn't make the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like that sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, that would suck after all those injuries you might accumulate, and then.
Yeah, but dude, we hardly pay the Army anything.
Yeah,
we do hardly pay the Army anything.
I don't even know if that's true.
That's even worse. That's a worse problem.
Football's not bad because we actually don't pay our veterans very much.
No, I'm just saying. It's not just football that's the problem. It's all of society.
I understand.
All right, I think that's enough podcasting. Do you want to give KPC a plug? Give yourself a plug.
Damn, I should prepare for that. Yeah. You guys can. The first week of KPC intro just started, so you guys can still join in. Second week. We're at 10826 124th Street. You can just go to the website KB Combat. kpcombat.ca and check it out, and
Nice. Is there a way to sign up like for your class, or do you teach all of the classes there?
I teach everything. Randy's gone. He's like James Bond. He's just a man of mystery, doing seminars in Europe, America.
Nice.
So he doesn't have time to teach at headquarters. Just me. I teach private lessons, classes, seminars. We got a free women's self-defense seminar every first Friday of the month. Karen teaches that, but I'm there.
Nice.
It's her meat puppet, and next Friday. Yeah, shouldn't say it like that, but next Friday will be a women's self-defense at 7 p.m. to 8:30. It's free. Just got to sign a waiver.
Nice.
Sweet.
Go on. That's the last Friday of every month? First Friday of every month. Nice.
It's the next Friday after the last Friday of every month.
Well, dude, he said next Friday, and it's the end of October right now, so my brain... Listen, Jim, I'm sick of your attitude today.
It's the attitude era of Scrambled YEGs.
Cool. Plug yourself.
Okay. Follow me at Kersey or at Yeg Stand Up on Instagram, and come to Station on Jasper every Wednesday at 7 o'clock for stand-up comedy.
Nice. Go to comedyaf.com. All my stuff's there. You'll find it. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your lives.